The Czech Republic has a long history of building all kinds of different rail vehicles, and while their largest player Skoda has had a bit of a mixed track record in recent years, building everything from Europe's longest tram to the most unreliable locomotive. But no one really pays attention to its unsung hero. This is the Panter Family. Quietly, it's become Czechia's most produced passenger train ever, even beating out the little rail buses found all over Central Europe. And now it's even gaining orders as far away as Uzbekistan. So what is up with Czechia's most popular train ever? Join me in this video to find out as we take a Panther up from Brno to the Czech capital Prague. We begin our journey at Brno main station in Czechia's second largest city. Opening in 1839, it's one of the oldest train stations in the country, but the station building standing today dates back to around the turn to the 20th century. Inside the building we see the small but pretty main departure hall. Expanding from both sides of the main hall, there's two long corridors with all the station facilities, like a bookshop, a ticket office, as well as convenience stores and food outlets. Heading down the underpass towards the station's platforms, you will find a few more facilities, including the station's toilets. As you might have noticed, the station was very busy today with people everywhere. And that's because Brno is a very congested station with train traffic to all over the country. And with just 4 through platforms, there's not a lot of space for all these trains. The station sees all sorts of train traffic, including České dráhy's prestigious railjet services between Austria and Prague. But of course also a large variation of regional and local services to around the Moravia region and beyond. Including many services operated by Regio Panther units, which in this part of Czechia mostly were delivery of the South Moravia Integrated Transport Authority. However, we'll be catching a different variation of the Panter family today, which is just approaching the station now. This is an Interpanther, a variation specifically designed for use on longer interregional services. They come in both 3 and 5 carriage versions, with one of each coupled together in today's train. The Interpanther was of course built by Skoda, with this variant entering service in 2015 and capable of 160 km an hour. Boarding was very chaotic, as the platform was only announced after scheduled departure time, causing a big rush of everyone crowding the platform at the same time. Eventually I found my reserved seat, number 52 in the first class section in the middle of the 5 carriage unit. We depart Brno a bit behind schedule because of the chaotic boarding process and because the train just decided to show up late from wherever it was before, as the service starts here. And speaking of the service, now as we navigate our way out of the station, let's take a closer look at the route map for the service we're catching today. We are on board Hl 864. Leaving from Brno, we will operate as a semi-fast service, making 12 intermediate stops on our 254 km long journey. That's scheduled to take 3 hours and 8 minutes to reach Prague, which gives the train an average speed of 81 km per hour. After our stop at Prague main station, the train continues one stop further to Vršovice. After making our way out of the city, we'll pass through the most scenic part of the route, as it follows closely the Moravian Karst Nature Reserve with its rolling hills and beautiful autumn colors, making for a beautiful backdrop to this train ride. This area of the Czech Republic is also known for its many caves and good hiking paths, where the station here in Blansko acts as the main gateway to many of them. Our journey continues heading north as the weather gets progressively worse. So with less to see out of the window, let me show you around the seats instead. Personally, I think this fabric red color scheme in 2025 looks a little bit like something that belongs in my grandmother's home, but that doesn't mean the seat can't be good. First of all, it features a large sturdy tray table with a laptop holder. A footrest was also installed, but you will need quite long legs to reach it, as the legroom is pretty good here in first class. Next to your seat you will find a small bin. And below the seat, by the recline button, is where you'll find the power outlet. The seat also offers a few degrees of recline. I found the seat to be decently padded with a comfortable supporting shape. It's not mind-blowing, but it's fine for a trip of up to about 3 hours. And from that beautiful autumn day we left behind in the south, the weather has now done an almost 180 to depressing winter. We are now calling at Svitavy station, where we have a scheduled stop of 7 minutes to let a faster service to Prague overtake us, but also due to track works today we had to wait for a southbound train to clear the temporarily single track section ahead of us. And with the southbound service finally arriving, we are now ready to continue, still running a bit behind schedule. And with us back up to speed, let me get you up to speed with the history of the Panter units. The story started back in 2011, where České dráhy placed an order for 19 2- and 3-carriage units to modernize its regional train fleet. And Skoda delivered. Just under 2 years later, in late 2012, these trains entered service. The trains proved to be reliable and popular, with České dráhy ordering many more units in multiple large batches. Eventually, the Regio Panthers had spread to almost every electrified railway line in Czechia. Several different variations have been built to suit the country's different needs, including these Interpanters for the longer regional routes, and, more recently, a battery electric version, the first of such kind of train to operate in Czechia. And it's not just in the Czech Republic that these trains have found success. Slovakia ordered a bunch in 2018, and a broad gauge variant has entered service in Latvia, with Estonia to follow this year. With even more trains on order for Uzbekistan and Bulgaria, the Panter has now become the most popular Czech passenger train ever, at least in terms of carriages produced. With more than 350 units in service or on order, totaling over 800 carriages, it has surpassed the long-standing record holder of the humble Class 810 railcar, of which 680 were built. With the last bit of daylight almost upon us, we should have a look at the train's interior. And here the layout of the Interpanter gets a little bit weird. We are at the rear of the 5-carriage unit, where you'll find the accessible toilet as well as the accessible seating. This is standard class, which comes in an expected 2+2 layout. It's mostly airline style seating, but there are a few seats around the table as well. But where things get a bit weird is with the first class sections, of which there's 3 on board a 5-carriage unit. The first of which is located kinda in the middle of the train. Not only is this section very small, you also get a lot of foot traffic from other passengers like myself walking through it to check out the toilets. There's not really much to say here. It was looking pretty clean, the flush was in working order. So I'll give České dráhy a thumbs up. In addition to the first class area, there's 2 further areas on the train as shown on the diagram here. To me it does seem very strange to have them spread out like this in tiny sections, as one of the main appeals of first class is usually it's a bit more quiet and in a reserved area of the train. But apart from that fairly minor point about the first class seat's location, it's a nice train with modern facilities like good bike storage. And it's even got a little bit of catering in the form of a vending machine selling drinks and light snacks. Overall, the interior feels adequate for this 3-hour interregional hop. We are now arriving at the recently renovated Pardubice main station, and it's nice to see that Czechia is not only investing money into modern rolling stock, but there's also money for infrastructure upgrades. And as we speed through the darkness to Prague, I will also note that the Panthers generally are pretty quiet trains, with fast acceleration, and while the ride quality isn't quite on par with some other new trains, it remains pretty alright. So as we approach Prague main station, let's talk about tickets and let me sum up my thoughts on the Panthers. Tickets in second class start from 305 Czech crowns or about 12 euros, with prices increasing according to demand and time of booking. All first class tickets are fixed at 680 Czech crowns, which in my opinion is only worth it if second class is expected to be very busy. Overall, I find the Panthers nice. They are generally quiet and comfortable and do the regional train job well. Considering there's gonna be at least 350 of them, they get surprisingly little attention. I think the best way to describe them is that Skoda has kinda quietly managed to build the Stadler flirt of Central Europe, and that's a good thing. And here we are at Prague main station after a comfortable journey. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you are subscribed to the channel as I try to post a new one every Sunday. You can also follow me over on Blue Sky at intercitysimon.com. I usually post live from my travels over there, so it's a great place to get a sneak peek of what videos might be coming to the channel in the future. Thanks for watching.